"You sure you're in the right uniform, sweetheart?" One of the cadets smirked as she stepped onto the training ground, her boots crunching against the gravel. The sun had barely risen, but the mocking tone in his voice was already wide awake. "Thought this was basic training, not a calendar shoot." His buddies laughed, loud and careless, arms crossed as they leaned against the pull-up bars. Standing at 5'6", her blonde hair pulled tightly back, and her uniform crisp as her posture, Lieutenant Armand didn't flinch. She didn't answer. She didn't need to, but her silence only fueled their jabs. "She's got lip gloss in her rucksack," one muttered. $10 says she taps out before checkpoint 2. The rest were already mentally dismissing her. She was just here to check a box, play soldier, pose for the cameras, nothing more. But then the whistle blew. The drill sergeant barked out the challenge, the full war readiness course: rope climbs, wall vaults, sand crawls, a 200-meter ammo carry, followed by a sprint to the tower and back. Brutal, grueling, timed. It had stood undefeated for a decade, 10 years without a single person beating the record. The fastest time ever clocked? 10 minutes, 35 seconds, held by an elite male recon sniper. No one had come within 30 seconds of it since. Armand stepped to the start line. Her stance was relaxed, hands at her sides, as if she wasn't about to go to war with gravity and exhaustion. The sergeant looked her over, raising an eyebrow. "You ready, Lieutenant?" She nodded once. "You'll want to reset that timer," she said calmly. "I'm not stopping at checkpoints." The buzzer sounded. She moved like fire through dry brush. The first rope scaled in under 8 seconds. Wall vault, over without a second step. The crowd watching went from casual laughter to silence as heads began to turn. Her legs didn't slow, her grip didn't slip. When she dropped into the sand crawl, dust flew behind her like smoke. She carried the dummy weight ammo crate like it was air. No falter, no complaint, just movement, precise, mechanical, deadly. One cadet mumbled, "Is that even legal?" The drill sergeant stared at the stopwatch like it was broken. "She's already at checkpoint 4, he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. "That's impossible." Then she reached the tower. Most paused here, rested, collected breath. Armand didn't even blink. She hit the first rung and launched upward. At the top, she slapped the plate, turned, and threw herself back down the ladder like gravity didn't apply. The final sprint was where most fell apart. Muscles locked, lungs gave in. But her pace never dipped. If anything, she got faster. By the time she crossed the finish line, a visible dust trail followed her boots. The timer blinked. 10:35, 10:20, 10:05, 9:58. Gasps erupted across the base. She collapsed to her knees, breathing hard but steady, eyes locked on the clock. The silence behind her was louder than any roar. The sergeant slowly lowered the stopwatch. 9:58, he said aloud. 9 minutes, 58 seconds. He looked stunned. She just broke the course record. One of the cocky cadets who mocked her earlier dropped his water bottle. Another just muttered, "What the hell just happened?" Armand stood, straightened her belt, turned around slowly, meeting their eyes one by one. No gloating, no smirk, just calm power, like a storm after the thunder has passed. "Cute doesn't mean weak," she said simply. "It just means you never saw me coming." The next morning, her name was etched in red across the board under base records. The men who laughed now looked away when she passed. Some saluted, others nodded in silence. But one thing was clear, none of them ever said "too cute" again. Later that week, the sergeant approached her privately. "You could have been anywhere, Mom. Why here?" Armand looked at him, a quiet fire behind her eyes. "Because I've spent my whole life being underestimated, and I wanted to prove that I didn't need to be twice as good. I just needed 7 minutes." He nodded, shaking her hand. "You earned every second of it. So never confuse beauty with fragility. The ones they laugh at often leave records they'll never catch." Before we end this story, let us know in the comment, where are you watching from? If this story touched you, subscribe to the channel and hit that like button and drop a karma in the comments below.